My name is Layla Brennan. I am 36 years old. The evening I came home with a termination letter in my bag, my sister did not ask if I was okay. She asked who was going to cover her phone bill. My mother nodded like that was a completely reasonable first question. Then my father walked into my bedroom, pulled out a cardboard box from my own closet, and started packing my things. Right there, in front of our aunt, in front of the neighbor who was sitting on our couch with a cup of tea still warm in her hands. He said my sister needed my room more than I did. I stood in that hallway, holding 12 years of mortgage payments, insurance bills, and car loans, all in my name. And not one single thing I had done for this family mattered in that moment. What none of them knew that night could have changed everything. But by the time they found out, I was already gone. If you are watching this, please subscribe and drop your city and time in the comments. I love knowing where you are watching from. Now let me take you back to where this all started. My father, Dennis Brennan, was diagnosed with a heart condition when I was 26. He was 53 at the time, working part-time at a warehouse. His health insurance through work barely covered anything. I was making good money as a senior data analyst at a marketing firm in Miami, so I started paying his medical premiums, $700 a month, because he was my dad and I loved him. My mother, Peril, had not worked in years. She managed the house. My younger sister, Brooke, was 22, in and out of short-term jobs, always in between something. The small things became bigger things. I covered the electric bill one month when money was tight, then the grocery bill the next month. Then my parents could not keep up with the mortgage, $800 a month. I took it over. I did the maths months very late one night, with a glass of wine and a spreadsheet I immediately closed. Over 11 years, I had sent roughly $310,000 back home. I never printed a receipt. I never asked to be repaid. I just thought they knew. I thought they felt it. They did not. My grandmother, Nora Brennan, 82 years old and sharp as a blade, had warned me once. She said, "Layla, there is a difference between helping your family and being used by them. Learn it before it costs you everything." I remembered that for a while. Then I stopped remembering. 2 years before I lost my job, Brooke wanted a new car, $34,000. She had no savings, no steady income, and a credit score that would not qualify for a bus pass. My mother's solution was simple. I would co-sign the loan. I said no. Brooke needed to build her own credit. I would help with the down payment, but I would not co-sign. What followed was 3 weeks of silence from my entire family. Then a post from Brooke on Instagram that said, "Funny how some people act like strangers the moment they think they are better than you." I co-signed the loan. $620 a month. And the day I put my name on that car note, I called my old college friend Marcus Webb, who had been trying to start a small consulting firm with me for 2 years. "I am ready," I told him. "Let's do it." We filed the paperwork that week. Brennan and Webb Financial Consulting. My name went first because Marcus insisted. "You are the engine, Layla. I am just the navigation." I did not tell my family, not because I was hiding anything, but because nobody ever asked what I did with my evenings. Nobody asked why I was on calls at 11 at night. Nobody asked me anything that did not involve a dollar amount. So the company grew quietly. By the time my employer let me go, Brennan and Webb was 2 years old, had 3 employees, a small office in a shared workspace in Fort Lauderdale, and a steady client list of small restaurant owners and independent contractors who needed proper financial guidance but could not afford the big firms. Year 1 revenue was $160,000. Year 2 was $300,000. I had also done something else. Something I had told no one. 8 months before I lost my job, I had used money I had been quietly saving for 4 years to put a deposit on a small beach house in Deerfield Beach. A foreclosure. 2 bedrooms, a porch facing the water, a yard that needed work. I paid cash for most of it. My name on the deed. Mine completely. Nobody in my family knew. I came home to find 4 cars in the driveway. My parents, Brooks, Aunt Sandra's old sedan, and Mrs. Keene from 2 houses down. 4 cars meant an audience. The screen door had not even closed behind me when Brooks' voice came from the living room. "So it is true you got fired." She was sitting cross-legged on the recliner, phone in hand, looking at me the way you look at a car accident. Curious, not concerned. "Laid off," I said. "There is a difference." "Whatever. Mom, who is going to pay my car bill now?" My mother was sitting on the couch next to Aunt Sandra. Mrs. Keene occupied the armchair. 3 women, and not one of them reacted to what Brooke had just said. My mother set down her tea. "Layla, sit. We need to talk." Her voice was not worried. It was organized, like she was running a meeting she had prepared for. They had known for hours. Brooke had a friend who worked reception at my firm. They had spent the afternoon eating biscuits and planning, while I was still clearing my desk. My mother folded her hands the way she does before delivering a decision she wants to look like a discussion. "Brooke needs a proper room. She has been sleeping on the pull-out sofa for months. You travel for work. You are barely here. It makes more sense for Brooke to take your room." "You want me to move out?" "We want you to think about your sister. You had a job. Now you will need to find somewhere new anyway. It is practical." Brooke pulled her knees to her chest. "You do not have kids. You are flexible." I looked at Aunt Sandra. She was staring at her teacup, pressing her thumb into the armrest. Mrs. Keene had gone very still. I walked down the hallway and opened my bedroom door. Half my bookshelf was already empty. The framed photo from my university graduation, the only photo of me on any wall in this house, was gone. The nail hole was still in the wall. They had not even waited. My father appeared behind me. He walked past me into my room, popped open a flat cardboard box, and started placing my things inside. Folded shirts, a jewelry box from Grandma Nora, a coffee mug from my first week at the firm. "Dad, look at me." His hand stopped. His eyes stayed on the box. "Your sister needs this house more than you do, Layla. You will be fine. You are always fine. You are always fine." 4 words. And inside those 4 words was the entire story of how my family had always seen me. Layla pays the mortgage. She is fine. Layla covers the insurance. She is fine. Layla co-signs the loan. She is fine. Layla loses her job and gets handed cardboard boxes. She will be fine. From the hallway, I could hear Brooke opening a shopping app. She was already looking at furniture for my room. I picked up both boxes. I walked past the living room. Aunt Sandra stood halfway up from the couch, opened her mouth, then sat back down when my mother looked at her. Nobody followed me outside. I drove 8 miles before I pulled into a petrol station car park. Engine running, hands on the wheel. It was not the job. I had a company with my name on the door. That part I could fix by morning. It was the graduation photo, the bare nail in the wall. My mother had pulled that photo down before I even got home. She had looked at my face in that frame, decided I was leaving, and taken it down. 11 years, $310,000, and they had removed me from the walls in one afternoon. I called Marcus, the Fort Lauderdale office. I said, "Is there room?" "There has been a desk with your name on it for 6 months," he said. I was waiting. "I am driving to a hotel tonight. I will call you in the morning." I sat in that car park and cried. Not loudly, just quietly, with 2 cardboard boxes in the back seat and no home behind me. Then I drove to the beach house. I had the key in my bag. I let myself in, sat on the floor of the empty living room with the windows open and the sound of the ocean coming through, and I breathed. I gave myself 2 weeks. I set up in the Brennan and Webb office. I slept at the beach house on an air mattress with the windows open. Every morning I woke up to the sound of waves instead of someone else's alarm. The auto-pay transfers were still running. Mortgage on my parents' house, $2,200 a month. My father's medical insurance, $700 a month. Brooke's car loan, $620 a month. Every month, $4,520 left my account and landed in a life that had just handed me cardboard boxes. Marcus leaned in my office doorway on day 10. "You are still paying them, aren't you?" I did not answer. "Layla, they packed your things." "I know." On day 16, Brooke called. Casual, like she was returning a call to a takeaway restaurant. "Hey, so my car insurance is due next week. Can you handle it? Also, the water heater broke at Mom's. She needs about $1,800. No hello. No where are you. No are you okay? Brooke, do you know where I am right now? I don't know. Work? I am in Fort Lauderdale. I have been here for 2 weeks. I moved out." A pause. "Oh, cool. So about the insurance?" I hung up. That night I wrote the email. Professional. Clear. No emotion bleeding through the edges. Subject line. Financial transition. 30-day notice. 4 paragraphs. No story. No grief. Just facts. Effective in 30 days, I would stop the following payments. The mortgage on a family home. My father's medical insurance premium, with a 60-day extension to allow time to find a marketplace plan. Brooke's car loan co-signature, which I was already working to have legally removed. I signed it with my full name. Not Love, not your daughter, just Layla Brennan. I pressed send at 11:47 at night. Then I drove to the beach house, opened the windows, and slept 8 straight hours for the first time in months. The morning after the email, my phone showed 14 missed calls. A wall of messages from my mother, my father, and Brooke. Not one of them started with, "Are you okay?" When I stopped paying, they noticed in 6 hours. When I had been gone for 16 days, nobody had called once. Aunt Sandra was the only one who called and asked how I was. She told me my mother was telling people at church I had abandoned the family after losing my job. She also said she was sorry for sitting back down that night instead of speaking up. 3 weeks after the email, a friend of Brooke's shared a post in a local group. Brennan and Webb Financial Consulting. New client services available. One of our neighbors, Mrs. Keene, who had been sitting on the couch that night, saw the post and mentioned it at church. My mother found out within 48 hours. She called Marcus first, looking for me. He did not give her my number. Then she called Aunt Sandra. Then she called me 11 times in one evening. I let them all ring. The voicemail she finally left was different from what I expected. Not angry, thin, careful. She said she had not known I had a business. She said she had not known about the beach house either, which Aunt Sandra had apparently mentioned. Her voice cracked once, not the performance crack she used to get Brooke's sympathy, but something smaller and real. She said, "I do not understand how you could have all of this and still be unhappy with us." I called her back 2 days later. "You did not pack my things because I was unhappy," I said. "You packed my things because you never saw me as a person. You saw me as a payment. The business, the house, I built those quietly because I had already learned that anything I cared about in that house got handed to Brooke." She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I think I knew that. I just did not want to say it out loud." That was the most honest thing my mother had ever said to me. The mortgage fell 2 months behind. The bank sent a warning letter. My parents applied for a loan modification, but without a second income, the numbers did not work. They took in a lodger, a young nurse who rented the spare room. My mother hated it. She adjusted. Brooke's car was repossessed on a Thursday afternoon while she was inside watching television. She had to start asking my mother for rides. It was the first time in her life she could not leave a room by picking up her keys. 3 weeks after the repossession, Brooke applied for a job at a plant nursery near the house. She did not get it the first time. She applied again. She got it the second time. My father flew to Fort Lauderdale in August, alone. He walked into the Brennan and Webb office slowly, looked around at the desks, the whiteboard, the small sign above my door that said, Co-founder, Layla Brennan. He stood in front of it for a long time without speaking. I did not know you had all this, he said finally. You never asked, Dad. He sat down across from my desk. He looked older than the last time I had seen him. The flight had tired him, or maybe it was everything before the flight. I am not here to ask for money, he said. I just wanted to see it, what you built. Why? Because I should have seen it a long time ago. His eyes went wet. He pressed his fingers to the bridge of his nose and let his shoulders shake once. I did not hug him. I was not ready. But I poured him a glass of water and sat across from him. Dad, we can rebuild something, but it starts from zero. No money, no guilt, just honesty. He nodded. He did not promise anything big, just nodded. Sometimes that is enough to start. My name is Layla Brennan. I am 36 years old. I run a company I built with my own hands. I sleep in a beach house I bought with money I saved over 4 years while also keeping my family afloat. On clear mornings, I sit on the porch and watch the water and drink my coffee without anyone needing anything from me. Brennan and Webb now has 7 employees. We signed a contract last quarter with a small hotel group that needed full financial restructuring. Our revenue is up 40% on last year. My father and I talk every 2 weeks. Short calls, careful ones. We talk about his tomato plants and a documentary he watched. We do not talk about the night with the cardboard boxes. Not yet, but the calls keep coming. My mother and I have spoken twice since August. Slowly, with long pauses. The door is open, but I am the one holding the key, and I am in no rush. Brooke sent me a photo last month. No message, just a picture of a small cactus she had planted on her apartment windowsill. I did not reply, but I saved it. Grandma Nora, 82 years old and still winning at card games in her care home, called me on a Sunday and said, I heard what you did. I am proud of you. Not for the company, not for the house, for finally deciding that you matter too. I wrote that down and taped it to the bottom of my monitor where I see it every morning before the emails start. I do not hate my family. I want to say that clearly. I do not sit at my desk hoping things go wrong for them. I just do not carry their weight anymore. And here's the thing I wish someone had told me 11 years ago. Stopping is not the same as abandoning. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. I hold the key. And holding that key is not cruelty. It is the first genuinely kind thing I ever did for myself. If you are the one in your family who pays the bills nobody thanks you for, the one holding everything together while everyone treats your effort like oxygen, invisible until it disappears, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to stop. Stopping does not mean you do not love them. It means you finally love yourself the same way you have been loving everyone else. And if that frightens them, if they call you selfish or cold, remember, they are not grieving you. They are grieving the convenience of you. There is a very big difference. That is my story. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever been the person holding everything together while nobody noticed? Or did this story make you realize there is someone in your life you have been overlooking? I read every comment. Subscribe for more stories like this one. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. I will see you in the next one.